you know that the money is in the list, and even more money is in a list of buyers. So it makes total sense for you to keep a list of website buyers to maximize your selling process. Your buyers list is the easiest, fastest, most reliable source for buyers who beg you to sell more websites. Now, I discovered this because I was on someone's buyers list. I was buying up websites and fixing them up to make them more valuable, and I loved the type of sites that this person was sending out. I was on her buyers list. And after a while, I realized, wow, this person is making a killing off of me because they send me an email, I see the site, I buy it at the buy it now price immediately. They don't even have to list it on flippa.com, and I buy it right away, and I was doing it regularly. And this person was making good money off me, and I loved her because she supplied me with the types of sites that I wanted. So here's how you can do the same. Buyers list will do this for you. They'll throw instant eyeballs to your sites for sale, and often some of the most targeted eyeballs because they bought from you before, you've done what you said you were going to do, they were interested in what you were selling before, and they had a good experience, so they might as well buy from you again. And immediately upon letting your buyers list know that there is a new website for sale, they can look at it, bid on it, or pay the full price for it. It'll also help you to identify what types of sites to build and sell because you can either look at the past buying behavior of your buyers, you can go back to what has already sold and send out the same type of website to your buyers list. Or if you have a good relationship with your list, you can simply ask them what type of websites they want to buy, build them or find them, and then sell them to your buyers list. You can also sell without auction sites. So you can avoid fees and sell sites instantly if you have a buyer's list that is responsive and websites that are compelling. You no longer have to go to flippa.com, for example, to list your site if you have a buyer's list that is hungry and ready to buy whatever types of sites you have to sell. You may be familiar with the study that my friend Brian did with his buyers list. He compared his list of 15 site buyers to someone else's list of several thousand prospects, and his list was actually more valuable. It was making him more money because he could list a site for $1,000, send it out to his buyers, and have it sold that same day. So you want to make 300, 400, 500 bucks on command? Get a good buyers list that knows what types of sites you build and wants more of them, and you send out your latest site to that list, and you can have $300, $400, $500 in your account, or however much you're charging for your websites within the same day, assuming that your buyers list is responsive and wants the type of sites that you're building. So let me ask you an important question. Why do you sell on flippa.com or through a broker? It's because that's where the buyers are. You sell sites the way that you do because the buyers are there, because you expect to meet with buyers by following those procedures. So wouldn't it be nice if you had your own pool of buyers? Well, why can't you? If you have a buyers list, then you can sell anything you want. You can sell your own sites or someone else's site because now you have your own pool of buyers and you're not dependent on someone else's buyers. You don't need to go out to flippa.com and target their buyers when you have your own pool of buyers that is ready to buy whatever types of sites that you have available. Here's how you can start building your list of buyers. Keep a growing Excel file with someone's name, their email address, how often you've contacted them, and the types of sites they have bought or inquired about. And as you're selling your sites, you'll have to start selling sites in order to build up this buyers list, unless, of course, you rent it from somebody, but I recommend that you build your own. As soon as you start selling websites, you need to start adding all the interested parties to your list, including the ones who bought your site, people who bid on your site, those who sent you private messages, those who commented on your auction. Get their flippa.com username, their email address, talk to them off of Flippa. Hey, shoot me an email at this address. And when they do, grab their email address and their name, their Flippa username, what type of site they inquired about, and put it into your Excel file. Then when you go to sell a similar site later, you can send out email alerts by just highlighting and copying the list of buyers that you have in your Excel file, putting it in an email. Shoot them an email at the beginning of your auction, let them know about the site right at the beginning and right at the end of your auction when there's 24 hours left. So you give them a heads up and a 24-hour notice. If this sounds familiar, it's because it's the same process that I use when I'm targeting competition when selling a website using the vanity ploy. When there are competitors who could be interested in a certain type of a website, then I'm grabbing all their contact information, putting it into an email, giving them a heads up, and giving them a 24-hour notice before a site is sold. Do the same thing with your buyers. Imagine having a list of competitors, a list of proven buyers, a compelling auction, and all of those things put together. And imagine and picture the bids going up and the price being driven up. It's because you have targeted people who are coming to look at your auctions. Here's how you can build a really big list of buyers, and I'll show you a couple of examples. One of them is the Viper business model, and that's simply building a squeeze page for your buyers list, meaning you have a website, and the purpose of that website is to get website buyers onto your list, probably your Aweber list. And you're just collecting the opt-in for people who want to be on your buyers list. You can provide a lead magnet for those leads in order to get them to sign up to your buyers list. And it can either be a case study on a site that you sold, meaning you can say, register here to see the website that I sold for $500 that was making $200 a month, or fill in the blank, or sign up here to see the sites that you can buy that are auto-generated, create their own traffic, their own posts. That's an auto blog, by the way. Or sign up here to see the website that I sold that had a page 1 ranking on Google and see how you can buy the exact same type of websites. So you use the specific sites that you build and sell or buy and sell as your lead magnet to get people onto your buyers list. You could also just use an education point where you say how to buy cheap ready-made websites, ready-made businesses, and of course that gets them educated on the buying and selling websites process, and you are going to be that person that supplies them with the ready-made businesses that they will buy from you. Now, when you have a big list like this, they're less targeted, but you're going to get more leads. You can, of course, combine these two by having a squeeze page about the types of sites that you sell or build and sell, and you can send the people who were interested in your previous auctions over to that squeeze page. Let me show you an example of both of these models. What you see before you is viperbusiness.com, and you'll see the headline here is, would you like to take over a ready-made real internet business that is already established and profitable? Of course, this is targeting website buyers. And when we come down here, we'll see that there is a lead capture here. Now, this website is actually a broker. They go and find buyers, they find sellers, and they take a 10% commission between the two. Now, instead of being a broker, which of course you can do, what I'm recommending you do as you're selling websites is to have a squeeze page that collects the name and email address of targeted buyers so that when you have websites that you are selling, you have a list of buyers that you can send them out to. And one way to drive traffic to this website is to just contact the people who are viewing your Flippa auctions and get them onto a list like this. Let me show you an example of someone who did something like this. This is a website that sold on Flippa.com. It's panicattacksymptom.com. It was bought. I'm sure it looks slightly different now, but I took this screenshot of when it was being sold because the seller was doing something really smart. He or she had this opt-in that was showing as a pop-up whenever someone came to the website while it was being listed for sale. So if you came to Flippa.com and clicked on the link to look at the website, you got prompted with this popover. You can X out, but you have the opportunity to sign up to build sites like this. Now, instead of teaching people how to build sites like this, what I'm recommending you do is have a list that encourages people to buy more sites like this, that says, flip a buyers. Want to buy more sites just like this one? Sign up for our buyers list. Enter your name and email address below, and that will encourage people who are viewing your existing auction to get on your buyers list and sign up for updates when you have new sites to sell. Once you have a nice list or a nice pool of buyers who are hungry to buy the types of sites that you have, here's how you can maximize that list. You can sell privately, meaning you no longer have to sell on auction sites, or you can simply use that buyer's list to drive up the number of bids and the price that you're going to get when you have a site listed on auction. But you can sell privately, meaning that you avoid all your auction fees by selling privately. You can also license out your buyers list, meaning that you go to sellers, website sellers, and have either a fee-based alert system or a broker system saying that I'll send out your website to my list of buyers for a flat fee or for 10% of what it ultimately sells for. For just starting out, you're going to want to take a fee. That means that you don't even need to have your own sites to sell. If you have a list of responsive buyers, you can go to all the website sellers that you want and say, I have a list of buyers interested in this type of website. For $300, I will send out an email to my buyers list and let them know about your auction. Get 300 bucks for sending out an email would be a pretty cool gig. Now, they would have to be expecting a good amount of money for that site in order to pay that kind of fee, but I'm just giving you an example of something that you can do once you have a buyer's list in place. You can also become the broker, which means that you can find people who are looking to sell their site, you send it out to your list, get it sold, and you get a cut for whatever the final sales price is. Again, you don't even need to have your own website available for sale. You simply license out your list in order to drive up the price of someone else's, and you get a cut. That's the power of having your buyer's list. You can drive up your own site prices, or you can send it out for other people's websites and get a cut or a fee based on that activity. That's why it's so important that as soon as you start selling sites, you begin to build up your buyers list immediately and grow it over time. It will be a huge benefit to put money in your pocket whenever you want to sell a website.